A big wingman hello to you once again, and I am so thankful you could join me today for another walk along the wingman path, another practice to help us raise our vibration, to attract more positive energy, to send out more positive energy, and to start living the life we intended to live, right? To live a joyous life. So many of us get caught up in complaining and negatives that I thought it's such a great idea. And that's why I'm so thankful for each of you for joining me along this path and practicing with me. Because I think the more of us that practice together, I say it all the time, right? The more of us that practice together, the easier it is for each of us to bring more positive energy into our lives, to start living the life we want to live, to start having the wind beneath our wings, right? The wingman's path, the wind beneath our wings. And so I thank you for sharing these with your friends and your family and your community, because, again, the more of us, the larger our community grows, our little community grows, the easier it's going to be for each of you and I to bring more positive energy into our individual life. So I thank you for being here with me today. Today's practice I call Be Here Now. And whether you've had a wonderful Labor Day weekend or a lousy Labor Day weekend, and whether you're back at work right now or you're taking care of kids or you're doing whatever it is you do today, be here now. Be where you are, doing what you're doing in the moment. Too many of us, it's easy. Sometimes people will say to me, well, Michael, it's easy for you to be wherever you are now. You're at this beautiful place. I am at a beautiful place, by the way. I'm on the Belfast Bay up in Maine. But I can't tell you how many times I've been on a beautiful walk and my mind wasn't letting me enjoy it, right? My mind was 1,000 miles away. It was thinking about what I did the other day and what I'm sorry for, or what I didn't do right, or it's thinking about what I have to do tomorrow or tonight or later that day, or it's thinking about how I messed something up 3 years ago. I mean, the human mind can play with us a little bit. I don't have to tell you. Zach, Kathy, you know what I mean. So many times our mind goes into a place where we don't really want it to go. I've actually heard it said in a great way, the mind is like a bad neighborhood. Don't go in there alone. But so often, we forget where we are in the moment, what we're doing, and we're not living in the moment. I guess that's what a lot of the Buddhists would call it, living in the moment. I call it being here now. And I can't tell you how many times on my walk this morning, and that's how this practice came up, because I was thinking about some work I have to do later today, and I just turned to myself and I looked out at this beautiful view and I said, be here right now. Enjoy this view right now. You'll get to your work when you get to your work, and when you do, be working right now. So if you're an accountant doing accounting work, be here now. Focus on what you're doing in this moment. And don't let your mind take you away from it. And I think we often need, at least I know I do, a reminder of that. So I often say to try and get it into your subconscious, to remind yourself. For me, it's easy now, because I've said it so many times in the past along my wingman's path, to be here now, that for me, I recognize very quickly when I'm not in the moment, when I'm not focused on what I'm doing. In today's society, it seems easy. You could go out to dinner and see, everyone sitting around the table and looking at their phones instead of being there right then, right? Be in the moment when you're in the moment. Live in that moment. Be there. Be present. For me, it's something I often had to remind myself to do. And so I thought it would be a good practice for us to do today. So why don't you and I, let's just say it together for 1 minute, and let's see if we can get it into our subconscious. So when we recognize that we are not being in the moment, when we are not doing the work we're supposed to be doing, when we're not being as productive as we want to be, when we're not focused on what we need to focus on, it slips out of our mind into our tongue, and we are able to tell ourselves very quickly to be here now. Join me, and let's just say it for 1 minute together. Eh? Be here now. Breathe it in. That's right. Be here now. Take that minute, even if you think you're rushed and you've got too much to do, to take a minute and say to yourself to be here now. Take a minute and be here now. Remind yourself to be right in that moment. And I assure you, you will become far more productive in the moment. Be here now. For me, when I say that, it's easy. I start looking at the boats, I start looking at the plants, I start looking at the water, and I start allowing that to get into my soul, because when I can relax myself, I guess it's sort of for me, a 1-minute meditation to remind myself to be here now and to breathe it in. How's it feel to you when you say be here now and you breathe it in? Be here now and just breathe it in with a deep breath. If you're at work and you want to be more productive, say it for 1 minute to yourself, breathe it in, and start looking at exactly what it is you have to take care of. And you know and I both know how much more productive you'll be when you can be in the present moment. Be here now. I thank you for joining me today. I know, as we said, it's so important for us to share these practices, because too many of us, our friends, our loved ones, our families, our kids, our mothers, our parents, get into a negative head frame. And I think if we can share these practices with them, they become more positive. And what happens then, right? When our loved ones and our family and our friends and our community becomes more positive. Again, I thank you for joining me along the Wingman's Path. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Your Wingman Michael from Belfast, Maine, signing off.